Notorious serial killer Ted Bundy was arrested in Salt Lake County in 1974. 15 years later, he was executed in Florida for 3 murders there. Now, despite confessing to 3 more murders here in Utah, he was never prosecuted in our state.
However, Utah detectives were the first to put the heat on him. Good for Utah's Marcos Ortiz explains as we continue our special report, Bundy, Legacy of Pain.
Detective Jerry Thompson was one of those assigned to look into the suspect, Bundy.
Everybody kind of looked at it and we all agreed that that's not burglary tools.
At that time, 5 teenage girls had gone missing or nearly kidnapped. Nancy Wilcox and Debbie Kent both vanished. The bodies of Melissa Smith and Laura Amy were found badly beaten, raped, and strangled. An 18-year-old Carol Durant was kidnapped and handcuffed in Murray. She managed to escape from a stranger's Volkswagen. But Thompson knew something else.
I was aware of some of the other states' problems up in Seattle.
In Washington state, police were baffled over the murders and disappearances of several teenage girls. There was a composite of a man with fairly good looks who went by the name of Ted. Thompson got a search warrant, and he went with Bundy to his house in the Avenues.
And I seen these gas receipts, these Chevron gas receipts. And so I didn't want to say too awful much to him, but I just looked through and asked him some questions about him, and I took one of them.
Thompson says Bundy was a neat freak, something unusual for a college student. All his clothes were carefully laid out, and then he spotted a pair of shoes.
Because the shoes was a prominent thing in Carol Durant's case.
Durant, the 18-year-old kidnap victim, told detectives the stranger had a pair of slick, shiny shoes. Thompson pieced together the gas receipts and soon saw a trend.
Basically, we can put him in probably every city to where any one of these girls were missing. I asked him, have you ever been to Bountiful? Where's Bountiful or something? I don't know.
Thompson contacted Seattle and Colorado about what he found in Bundy's house. Bundy was picked out of a lineup by Durant. She also told them about specific tears on the back seat of the Volkswagen. Bundy was convicted of kidnapping Durant. Detectives didn't have enough evidence to get murder charges against Bundy, but Thompson's search of the Bundy house helped with the murder charges in Colorado. Bundy managed to escape twice during his time there.
My comment was, and I told everybody, I said, this guy will not stop.
Sure enough, weeks after his escape, 2 co-eds at Florida State were brutally beaten and strangled. 2 others were beaten but survived. Then, a 12-year-old went missing. Her body was later found in a pig farm. Bundy, who had changed his name and identity, was stopped on a routine traffic stop in a Florida city. He acted as his own attorney in the murder trials and was found guilty. 9 years later, in 1989, he was executed. Thompson only wished it had happened in Utah.
If that would have happened, some girls in crimes would still be alive.
41 years after making that traffic stop in West Valley, Bob Hayward still calls that night with Bundy his best police work.
Yeah, that the best stop I ever made. But nothing quite this gigantic, where he killed so many and was responsible for so many deaths, and nobody could put a finger on him.
But it also haunts him. During Bundy's Florida trial, Haywood was waiting to testify. One of the co-eds who survived Bundy's brutal attacks walked up and turned on him.
And he says, "Why didn't you shoot him?" And I says, "I didn't know who he was."
But he also believes he saved a girl's life that night in 1974 when he pulled Bundy over in West Valley.
There's no doubt in my mind that that was his prey for the night. He was going in that house.
There was one more detective who met Bundy face-to-face 2 nights before he was executed. Tomorrow night, for the first time ever, you'll hear Bundy's confessions from an audio recording never played before in public. In the studio, Marcos Ortiz, Good for Utah. You know, these stories can be found on our website, goodforutah.com, immediately after they air. Tomorrow night, that confession will be posted in its entirety.